Hi everyone, I'm Kiki Fontenot with the LSU AgCenter, and today we're going to talk about cleaning your tanks after you've used pesticides in them. Today we're specifically having a workshop on herbicides, so we have backpack sprayers and larger tanks that we were using for our herbicide applications. And what we want to do is be able to clean the herbicide that was in there completely out, because each sprayer isn't always going to be used for the exact kind of herbicide that we use on our vegetable farms. We have some herbicides that are non-selective, meaning they'll kill both broadleafs and grasses, and then we have selective herbicides which will only kill either broadleaf or grass herbicides. And all that is to say is that I don't know what application I'm going to make next in my herbicide sprayer. And so I want to be able to get out any active ingredient that was in there from my last application so that it doesn't affect my future application. Now this is going to be very important on your home and or on the farm, that you always keep your tanks separate. So if I have one tank, I'm only going to always just use herbicides in it. I would need to buy a separate tank and use that for insecticides and fungicides. Some people do use them for both. In that case, you must really clean your tanks out, and we do not advise that. But I wanted to bring up in this case that every now and then, especially in a smaller vegetable farm or in a home garden situation, you may use one of your tanks to put out fertilizer applications. And so if you're cleaning a fertilizer out of a tank, say you sprayed something like a boron application to get on the foliage, or you were just watering in your new transplants with something like a 20/20, that's fine. But you have to choose the tank cleaner based on what you last used in this sprayer. So if I had thought that there was ever any fertilizer in this sprayer, any residue of fertilizer in there, I would not ever use bleach products, okay? When I'm cleaning out fertilizers, if I mix bleach in them with those fertilizers, we can get a pretty toxic gas buildup that could be affected or harmfully affect your health. So we don't want to use bleach if we think there's any fertilizer residue in there. But if it's just a herbicide, then we have options. Bleach and ammonia are going to be our two options that are the easiest for y'all to find at the grocery store, a local hardware store, at a plant nursery. We can find these almost anywhere. If I'm going to use bleach or ammonia, I'm going to make up a 1 to 2% solution of this to my tank as I'm cleaning it, all right? And we're going to talk about those steps in a minute. If I were to go to the hardware store though, and I were to buy a specific tank cleaner, and you can see we have two examples right here. This is not necessarily always a 1 to 2% solution that you make up. In the case of using a specific tank cleaner, you would want to turn over to the back of the label, and you would want to follow the directions, and you're going to look at what the rate is that they want you to use. And in fact, I think on this one, the rate is actually on the front. Here, it's mixed 1.5 fluid ounces or 3 tablespoons per every 2 gallons of water in the sprayer. Then you're going to shake it up, okay? And that may not be the same rate for this tank cleaner, but for bleach and ammonia, it's always a 1 to 2% solution. To make that easy for you guys, we have this on our LSU AgCenter website, and we've pre-done the math for you for various numbers of gallons of sprayers, okay? So you don't have to figure that out if making those calculations is difficult, which we know can be hard. Before we even start cleaning, we're going to want our PPE or personal protection equipment. So for some of the herbicides, you know, you use gloves to mix them. You should use gloves when cleaning that tank because it's definitely going to get on your skin. And for a lot of pesticides, a lot of people think, oh, it's just that I don't want to breathe it in while I'm working in it. But a lot of pesticides is skin absorbed, right? So we don't want to get it in our skin. So some of these things may say wear long sleeves. I'm not doing that today. Some herbicides may say wear gloves, definitely. Some herbicides may even say wear goggles, you know, so you need to look at that. And you're going to find that, like when we see right here on this tank cleaner, it says if I were to use this one, precautionary, let's see here, rinse eyes, that kind of thing, do not use, here we go. Do not breathe mist or vapor, wash thoroughly after handling, do not eat, drink, or smoke when using this product. Wear protective gloves, protective clothing, eye protection, and face protection. So they're just double checking and making sure that you are fully protective when you're using this. For the demonstration purposes today, I'm going to skip the Clorox because I don't know that this hasn't ever had fertilizer in it, and I'm going to go with household ammonia. Okay, so I'm going to make a 1 to 2% solution of this. Now, when I'm doing that, the first step in cleaning out this tank is going to be to get rid of whatever leftover herbicide solution is in this from the field. I would never pour this out right next to my water source, especially in a home garden or a small farm where you're using city water. I also don't want it to be near a well, because over time you keep dumping that solution out right there, you have the chances of contaminating that water source. So the proper way to get rid of anything that was left over in this backpack or bigger sprayer is to use it in the same field that you were applying that herbicide in, because it was labeled for that use. Does that make sense? So that's okay. If you want to spray it out in a fallow field, that is fine as well, if the next crop that you're planning on putting into that fallow field is also labeled for that herbicide use right there. So you want to look at things like pre-harvest intervals and that kind of thing. So our first step is to remove all of the herbicide residue out of this tank, and we've already accomplished that. Next, I'm going to take this water source and I'm going to start rinsing out the inside of this tank, okay? So you can get some. It's really important that if you had something in the tank that came in contact with the herbicide solution, such as a little filter like this, that you also rinse this in this process and clean this. So we're not just cleaning the inside of the tank, but we're cleaning anything that sat inside the tank, and we would rinse off at the final end everything outside of the tank, okay? So we're gonna So here what we've done is we filled the tank all the way up with water, and we're going to go ahead and drain this out. This is our first rinse, and then we're going to fill the tank back halfway with water. So we've completed our first rinse on this, and now what we're going to do is we're going to fill the tank halfway with solution. We don't need to add our 1 to 2% cleaner into the full tank. We can just do it halfway, and we're going to agitate that tank around to ensure that that cleaning solution hits all sides and crevices inside this tank. Okay, as I'm filling up my tanks with water, I never want to leave the hose hanging like this in here, because if there were some residue from these herbicides still in here in this cleaning process, and especially when I'm filling this tank with the herbicides in the first place, if it starts to overflow, or if the water comes in contact with that hose nozzle, it can actually siphon back into the hose and into our municipal, city, and or well water systems. So we don't want to do that. We're going to always fill and rinse our tanks with the nozzle out of the tank itself. So right here, we know that this is a 4-gallon backpack sprayer, and so I can see here marked on the side 1, 2, 3, 4 gallons is filled right here. So to clean this solution, I really only need to go to this 2-gallon water line, and you can see I've already surpassed it just by a little bit, but I'm between 2 and 2.5 gallons here. So I don't need to add any more water at this time to actually put my cleaning solution in this tank. And if I go here, I know that a 1 to 2% solution of ammonia or household bleach for each gallon is going to be 1 to 2.5 ounces of bleach or ammonia. I have 2 gallons in here, so I'm going to double this rate. So instead of 1.3 to 2.5, I would go anywhere from about 2.5 to 5. So for this today, we're just going to go to 4 ounces because that's easy to measure out. I have an 8-ounce cup measure right here. I like this one because I can see each ounce marked specifically out on this container. And I am gonna pour my cleaning solution until I get to 4 ounces. And typically I like it where the meniscus is right at that 4 ounces. So I might just put one more little droplet in there. Perfect. The ammonia smell is strong. Now I'm going to take this.
Wait.
Okay.
Okay, let's see.
Do I have a leak in this?
All right, and go.
And I'm going to dump my cleaning solution into the tank. All right. And in the case of a small tank like this, I'm simply going to put on the lid. I need you guys to be sure, and this is a tricky part that nobody thinks about because we're always in a hurry, that when you screw on the lid, you actually screw it on tight and you don't get those tracks a little bit offset. Because to agitate a backpack sprayer, you would just simply put it on your back as such. Okay. And then to make sure that I get it kind of all around in there, I'm just going to jiggle it around. Some people might just walk up and down the field one time or something like that, but you're just going to kind of make sure that that cleaning solution has touched every part of the inside of that backpack sprayer. Okay, so now it's agitated. Oops.
And I'm going to cover clean.
Oh yeah, so you don't have to worry about all the, okay. All right, and now we can drain this out. Now, when we're...
Because the sun just eclipsed
okay.
on me. And now, okay, and go, action.
And now that it's agitated, we can drain this out. As I'm draining it out though, I don't want to forget about my wand because remember, we have some pesticide residue in here and definitely in this tip. So I'm going to pump this backpack sprayer up and make sure that I'm running some of this through here to get that cleaning solution pumped through this tank and in here, cleaning out all inside portions of this tank and through the nozzle.
Is it okay to show it coming out there?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. They get
this is cleaning solution, is orange state.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Okay, wait, let's see, keep going. I'm gonna...
It's okay for as long as you need, because I'm just gonna dump the rest, because I know this cleaning's already been pre-cleaned.
Keep going, I'll just give it a close-up there. Good. And...
Okay. And I'm going to dump my cleaning solution into the tank. All right. And in the case of a small tank like this, I'm simply going to put on the lid. I need you guys to be sure, and this is a tricky part that nobody thinks about because we're always in a hurry, that when you screw on the lid, you actually screw it on tight and you don't get those tracks a little bit offset. Because to agitate a backpack sprayer, you would just simply put it on your back as such. Okay. And then to make sure that I get it kind of all around in there, I'm just going to jiggle it around. Some people might just walk up and down the field one time or something like that, but you're just going to kind of make sure that that cleaning solution has touched every part of the inside of that backpack sprayer. And now that it's agitated, we can drain this out. As I'm draining it out though, I don't want to forget about my wand because remember, we have some pesticide residue in here and definitely in this tip. So I'm going to pump this backpack sprayer up and make sure that I'm running some of this through here to get that cleaning solution pumped through this tank and in here, cleaning out all inside portions of this tank and through the nozzle. Some farmers will have rinsate cleaning collection bins that they pour this in. Others will go back out to that field again and toss it in the field like we did with the first rinse. Okay, so here we're just taking our cleaning solution or rinsate now into a field that we know is, if there is any herbicide residue left in here, it's legal for me to use because I would be planting a crop that's going to have this in here. And you can kind of see the difference because if you look in the tank, you're going to see the suds, right? Whether it's a tank cleaner or an ammonia or a bleach, you're going to see that it has slightly. So we've performed our initial rinse, we've performed our rinse with our cleaner, we've agitated the sprayer, we've dumped it. The last two steps are pretty simple. All you're going to do is refill this container for the third and final time with your water solution, all the way to the top, and rinse it out. And then at the very end, I'm going to rinse the outside of this sprayer, especially the outside of this wand, anything here where I'm making my next application that may come in contact with the plants, because certainly if I was spraying herbicides or any kind of pesticides out of here, there was chance for drift to get it on the outside of the wand or the outside of my tractor boom or any of my shields and that kind of thing. So not only are we cleaning the inside of the tank, but at the end we're going to rinse the entire thing. So this is the third final fill up. So that was how we properly clean a tank. It's a pretty simple method. We just want you to make sure you're always cleaning it proper between every application that you use it for, not just for the health of your crops, but for the health of yourself as well. We know accidents happen, you know, chemicals get spilled on the outside, and we certainly don't want to see that rubbing against your skin or things of that nature. So we're just here to keep you happy and healthy at the LSU Ag Center.